Right friends, welcome back to GRAP, Graded Response Action Plan. This is with regard to controlling pollution in Delhi National Capital Region area, in Delhi NCR area. For controlling air pollution, these guidelines of Graded Response Action Plan were recently notified by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The ministry notified these guidelines, and what exactly the meaning of Graded Response Action Plan? The meaning is when the air quality exceeds certain limits, particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10. So, particulate matter 2.5 are fine particles, and these particles are 2.5 microns in diameter or smaller. 2.5 microns in diameter or smaller. Micron means 10 power minus 6 meter, or you can say 1,000th of millimeter. Fine particles, and in the atmosphere, because of more particulate matter 2.5 particles, there is every possibility of lung diseases, heart diseases. And last time after Diwali, Delhi NCR area had very bad experience. So now these are notified by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and when PM 2.5 or PM 10 exceeds a certain limit, the action is to be followed immediately. When this exceeds a certain limit, if it exceeds something, certain action. If it exceeds something else, severe action. Like that, it is graded into 4 types of action plans depending on the severity of air pollution, right? So, if you go further, this is Environment Pollution Control Authority. Environment Pollution Control Authority has got the mandate of Supreme Court, and this was constituted by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change long ago, and this is established based on Environment Protection Act of 1986. So, this was established by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change with the Supreme Court mandate long ago, and now this Environment Pollution Control Authority was given the powers to implement this Graded Response Action Plan, right? So, let us go ahead. Graded Response Action Plan, there are 4 cases. These 4 cases, this case 1 is a severe plus or emergency. Case 1, then case 2 is severe, then case 3 is very poor, then case 4 is moderate to poor, and this way air pollution is divided into 4 categories. And what action is to be taken when PM 2.5 exceeds some limit, when PM 10 exceeds some limit? So, under those circumstances, it is specified clearly. No action is required when PM 2.5 is up to 60. When PM 2.5 is up to 60, no action is required. And no action is required if PM 10 is up to 100. So, the safe limits are PM 2.5 60 micrograms per cubic meter, and PM 10 is 100 micrograms per cubic meter. And if this exceeds these limits, then the first category is moderate to poor. So, when the air quality goes into the first category, then government has to do some action. What is that action? The action is garbage burning is to be stopped. Then mechanized sweeping on roads is to be done. Roads are to be swept mechanized way. Then water sprinkling on unpaved roads, water sprinkling, and ban on firecrackers. Like that, these things are to be introduced. And let us look at the next step. This is very poor. When PM 2.5 crosses 121 or PM 10 exceeds 350, or you can say if it is between 351 to 430. So, under those circumstances, what is to be done? Diesel generators usage is to be stopped, then parking fee is to be increased 3 to 4 times, and more bus and metro services, and coal or firewood in hotels or open eateries must be stopped. So, all these things, when PM 2.5 exceeds a certain limit and PM 10 exceeds a certain limit. Next severe condition is severe, right? I am coming from the bottom, that is better air quality to the worst air quality I am coming. Please observe carefully. I started from moderate to poor. Then the next step is very poor. Then the next severity is severe. When PM 2.5 is 251 and above or PM 10 431 and above, then under these circumstances, brick kilns are to be closed. Then stone crushers are to be closed. Badarpur power plant is to be closed. So, like that. And let us come to the most severe form, right? So, the most severe form is when PM 2.5 crosses 300 or PM 10 crosses 500. When PM 2.5 crosses 300 or, this is very important, when PM 2.5 crosses 300 or PM 10 crosses 500 micrograms per cubic meter and it stays on for 48 hours, then the action is odd even scheme is to be implemented, entry of trucks is to be restricted, construction activity is to be stopped. So, like this graded action plan is devised, right. So, let us come to who will implement this. Here the plan was prepared by Supreme Court mandated Environment Pollution Control Authority, as I have already told you, and concentration of the pollutants, that means when the PM 2.5 or PM 10 exceeds a certain limit, then that is to be communicated to EPCA by a task force. And please look into this, it will be very clear to you. Here pollution control boards as well as India Meteorological Department will monitor air quality and that will report to EPCA, and subsequently EPCA will advise the departments. There are 16 departments concerned with this, right. So, this is all about the implementation plan and ultimately these departments have to implement this, right. So, next further information is, if you look at the other countries, Beijing as well as Paris have implemented similar action plans. And Paris recently implemented this odd even road vehicle scheme when 2.5 crossed 95 micrograms per cubic meter. And it also encouraged public transport with free travel to encourage people to leave their vehicles at home. Similarly, Chinese cities have implemented road rationing scheme. So, there are world experiences on this, especially two cities, that is Beijing and Paris. And finally, what are the challenges? I have listed out 6 challenges here. In India, the coordination among various departments is a Herculean task and there are 16 departments involved and it is not that easy to ensure coordination. Then second point is, for implementing certain aspects like odd even schemes, they cannot be implemented overnight. They require some time. Then augmentation of public transport cannot be done in few days. There is mention of augmenting public transport like bus, metro. It is not that easy to augment bus or metro services in short notice, and this must have long-term strategy. These things cannot be done overnight. Then aspects like mechanized sweeping of roads, water sprinkling on unpaved roads are not that easy to implement. It is not that easy to implement all these aspects because the most important aspect, if you look at Indian cities, is if one looks at socio-economics in our country, 30 to 40% of people live in slums, in slum areas. 30 to 40% people live and without access to water, without access to sanitation facilities, and it may become an utopian dream to implement all these things in the present day context of India. and the basic issue to be solved only with the decongestion of metro cities and providing job opportunities in tier 3 towns as well as major villages. Already government is coming up with several aspects. I am not denying those things. Government is expanding metro, and other important aspect is we are switching over to stringent pollution control norms as far as vehicle emissions are concerned with regard to the implementation of Bharat stage 4, Bharat stage 6. So government is doing a lot, but the biggest problem, basic problem lies in decongestion of our cities. If you look at Delhi, Mumbai, lakhs of people are migrating every year to Delhi and Mumbai in search of employment, and most of them are reaching the slum areas of the cities. And here the basic problem, the crux of the problem is India require not 4-5 metros, but India require around 100 well established towns or cities which provide job opportunities. That is the real solution, but these are all the measures probably which is not that easy to implement in the present day socio-economic context, as lakhs of people are migrating to cities and relegated to the slum areas in cities. Right? So this is about the challenges for implementing this graded response action plan. But anyhow, it is a good measure, no doubt about it. I listed out various challenges. Right, friends, with this let us conclude second capsule. Please do join for third capsule, universal basic income. Have a nice day. Thank you.